welcome to the 6th episode of Renaissance Weekly. So glad you could join us. For those who don't know what the Renaissance Club is a non-profit rehabilitation clubhouse for adults with mental illness. We are your co-anchors. I'm Michael Closey, and this is Michael D'Annunzio.
Hello, Mike. What do we have on the show today?
I'm glad you asked. Today on the show, we have your interview with Ren Club member Jim Shaw, also a movie review from yours truly. But first, we've got our weather report from our very own weatherman, Walter Velligor. What's going with the weather, Walter?
Thanks, Mike. Here's this week's weather report. Monday, mostly cloudy, high of 37, low of 35. Tuesday, partly cloudy, high of 43, low of 23. Wednesday, sunny, high of 32, low of 23. Thursday, snow to rain, high of 40, low of 33. Friday, partly cloudy, high of 39, low of 23. Now back to you, Mike.
Thank you, Walter. Today is Thank You Note Day. Starting in ancient times, with Egyptians and Chinese societies, these two groups would use papyrus paper to write friendly letters or letters of good luck to those they cared about. In the early 1800s, Europeans would write social notes and deliver them to friends and family, and this is what started the greeting card. Louis Prang settled down in Boston, Massachusetts, and on Christmas of 1873, Prang began to produce and sell greeting cards to this popular market of Europe, beginning selling Christmas cards in America around 1874. And since that day, both Christmas cards and thank you cards have increased in popularity around the world. To celebrate Thank You Note Day, it really requires us to be around family and friends. All we have to do is pass around cards or notes, thanking family members for the gifts they have given us, and the love that we all share with each other every day. Thank You Note Day is a silly, yet wonderful little holiday that makes time with our families a whole lot more cheerful, fun, and all around happy. In celebrating of Thank You Note Day, we decided to do our very own thank you notes. Thank you. New Year's resolutions. For being the easiest way for letting people know what you hate about yourself.
Thank you, New England, for letting me experience all 4 seasons in one day.
Thank you, Superstores, for letting us return our unwanted gifts for gifts that we actually want.
Thank you, Pretty Dynamite, for making the 80s rock so hard.
Thank you, Jimmy Fallon, for making a segment about thank you notes.
Today is December 26th, and if you have a birthday today, you celebrate it with the likes of Carol Spinney, voice of Big Bird and Oscar Grouch on Sesame Street, turns 83. John Walsh, creator of and host of America's Most Wanted and The Hunt, turns 71. Carlton Fisk, former Chicago White Sox and Boston Red Sox catcher, turns 69. Steve Smith, former St. Louis Cardinal All-Star, turns 62. Jim Toomey, creator of the comic strip Sherman's Lagoon, turns 56. Lars Ulrich, drummer of Metallica, turns 53.
Zootopia.
Yeah.
Alright.
Byron Howard, co-director of Bolt, Tangle, and Zootopia movies, turns 48. Jared Leto, lead singer of 30 Seconds to Mars, and currently played the Joker in the Suicide Squad movie, turns 45. Chris Daughtry, American Idol contestant and lead singer of Daughtry, turns 37. Beth Burse, star of Two Broke Girls, turns 31. Kit Harington, star of Game of Thrones, very familiar, of Jon Snow, turns 30. Weston Cage, son of Nicolas Cage, turns 26. And finally, Steve Allen, who is the founder of The Tonight Show, who died in 2000, would have been 95 today. Speaking about today, that leads us into our next topic on this date in history with our very own Michael Closey.
Thank you, Mike. Today in history, in 1776, during the American Revolutionary War, in the Battle of Trenton, the Continental Army attacks and successfully defeats a garrison of Hessian forces. In 1799, 4,000 people attend George Washington's funeral, where Henry Lee III declares him as first in war, first in peace, and first in the hearts of his countrymen. In 1846, Trapped in snow in the Sierra Nevadas and without food, members of the Donner Party resort to cannibalism. In 1862, 4 nuns serving as volunteer nurses on board the USS Red Rover are the first female nurses on the U.S. Navy hospital ship. In 1908, Jack Johnson TKO's Tommy Burns in 14 rounds for heavyweight boxing title, becoming the first black heavyweight champion. In 1919, Babe Ruth of the Boston Red Sox is sold to the New York Yankees by owner Harry Frazee, allegedly establishing the Curse of the Bambino superstition. In 1924, Judy Garland, then aged 2.5, is billed as Baby Frances, making her show business debut. In 1941, U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt signs a bill and establishing the 4th Thursday of November as Thanksgiving Day in the United States. 1963, the Beatles' I Want to Hold Your Hand and I Saw Her Standing There are released in the United States, marking the beginning of Beatlemania on an international level. 1966, Jimi Hendrix writes Purple Haze backstage at the Uppercut Club. 1968, Led Zeppelin's concert debut in Denver as the opener for Vanilla Fudge. You ever heard of Vanilla Fudge?
No clue.
1973, horror film The Exorcist starring Linda Blair and X-rated premieres and it's the first horror film to be nominated for Best Picture. 1975, Tu-144, the world's first commercial supersonic aircraft surpassing Mach 2, went into service. 1982, Time's Man of the Year is a computer. And in 2009, China opens the world's longest high-speed rail route, which links Beijing to Guangzhou.
I was not aware of those dates in history, Mike. Thanks. Today is also Boxing Day. Boxing Day is a holiday celebrated on the day following Christmas Day in the United Kingdom and Commonwealth nations. Boxing Day occurs on the 26th of December. The term Christmas box dates back to the 17th century and among other things meant a present or gratuity given at Christmas. It was a custom for tradespeople to collect Christmas boxes of money or presents on the first weekday after Christmas as thanks for good service throughout the year. This custom is linked to an older English tradition since they would have to wait on their masters on Christmas Day. The servants of the wealthy were allowed to the next day to visit with their families. The employers would give each servant a box to take home containing gifts, bonuses, and sometimes leftover food. It is believed to be in reference to the Almsbach, placed in area of worship to collect donations to the poor.
Oh, I was not aware of that. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. You know, Mike, here at the Renaissance Club we do a lot of work, but we also combine work with pleasure, which is where our social events come into play. In fact, last week we went to the Zoo Lights at the Stone Zoo and played Uno. And then we're going to end our month with our Mark New Year's party, which is on the 30th. So it's now time with my interview with Jim Shaw. Hello, and welcome to Member Spotlight. I'm Michael D'Annunzio. Today on the show I have Ren Club member Jim Shaw with me. Hello, Jim. Welcome to
Hi,
the show.
Mike. How you doing?
Good. So, Jim, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I could give you the details like how old I am, but I'm too old to give that out.
Yeah, that's understandable.
I guess I could start by telling you I've been coming to the Renaissance Club for, is it 38 years now? Or 39 years?
You know, I have no idea. I've only
Yeah,
been
it's
coming here for
39
15
years. It was 1977 when I started coming to the Renaissance Club, and I've watched the club go from 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th building that we've been in since I've been here. I've seen 1, 2, 3, well, 4 or 5 Renaissance Club directors, numerous staff, and probably hundreds of members come and go. And it's a long part of my history, and it's an important part of my history.
So you actually answered my second question of how long you've been here. So you've been here almost 40 years now, huh?
Almost 40 years.
So the club's been only open for 50, so you're like only
so
10 years short. Huh?
Yeah.
So the one constant thing that we know for a fact is Jim Shaw has been around the entire time.
Oh yeah.
Almost the entire time.
Yeah.
So that's kind of funny. So how did you find out about that clubhouse way back then?
Well, what had happened is I was attending what they call day hospital. This is how far long ago that was.
Yeah.
I was attending day hospital, and that's where you would go in and participate in hospital activities for the day, and then go home to your home at night. And one of the things they used to do is take us to the Renaissance Club every so often. And that's where I started doing that. And then I got out of the day hospital program for about a little over 6 months. And then I moved back to a rooming house, which was within walking distance of the club. And I just became a member all over again, you know. Actually, I never stopped being a member because when you're a Renaissance Club member, you're a member for as long as you want to be.
So what do you tend to do around here at the clubhouse when you're here?
Well, you know, I ask myself that, and I say, I help out wherever they need help in the club. You know, occasionally it comes up, the phone needs to be answered, they need somebody to sell lunch tickets, they need somebody to give a tour of the clubhouse, and I respond by like doing filling in here and there. I'm kind of like what you would call in baseball a utility infielder. You know, I'll play all the positions on the infield positions on the field and come in whenever the manager or the coach wants me to. You know, so I do a lot of that, and the rest of my time I spend. I don't call it looking for jobs. I call it looking at jobs. So what I do is I get on the computer and I just type in a job that I think I'd like to do and stuff. And I look it over and I ask myself, well, would you like to do that, or would you like to send them a resume or an email or stuff like that? So I'm always looking at jobs because I figure, well, I've still got 6 years and 8 months to go before I retire, so.
Not to give away your age at all.
No.
6 years and 8 months. So just mark the calendar, whatever that.
Well, you gotta know the retirement rules.
Yeah.
Because they've changed, you know.
What other stuff do you do here? I know that you do the soft. Funny you said utility person. You do softball. I know that.
Yeah, I play softball, and what else do? I help out on the committees that do things. I was thinking about this last week. I remember we had a homeless program here at the club for a little while. When we had some money, we got some money through a block grant, and we had money that we could help people who were at risk for homelessness. And I helped administer that program. Somebody would apply for help, and we would look at their situation and decide whether or not or how much money to give them. And that was one of the things that I did.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I participated in the Renaissance Club that really was satisfying in a way, and educational in another way
Yeah,
too.
made you feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
good to have money for the club. You know, so donate.
Yeah. Well, you know, keep in mind. Keep the Renaissance Club in mind if you have a block grant. You know,
Yeah.
if you're a city councilor or whatever. You know, keep in mind that we can do that sort of work here. You know.
All right. So, how would you say the Renaissance Club has helped you in your recovery?
Well, it helped me. I'll tell you what it is. It's really simple. It's like it gives me something to get out of the house. You know, I mean, I get up in the morning, and I don't have to like ask myself, what do I want to do? Or I don't like have to turn on the TV and just keep flipping channels just to find something interesting. I know what I can do. I can get up, I can go to the club and hang out there, and it's just. It's so automatic because it's been like so many years that I've done it, and like I say, the club gets me out of the house,
Yeah.
and isolation, you know, is staying at home and just being by yourself is the worst thing for your mental health. You know, the best thing is to get out, be with people, and have something constructive to do, and that's what I get to do here at the club. I get to be with people, and I have something constructive to do. You know, I get to count how many salads I eat in a row each day because I'm very persistent in always eating a salad for lunch, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, things like that. We do yoga here sometimes. We started doing yoga here, and that's what got me into the practice. I do it at home now. And so, you know, the club introduces a lot of opportunities for me, too, you know, to learn things. Play softball. I hadn't played softball for years until we started, 5-6 years ago or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you started about 5-6 years. I know I've been doing it for like 13 to 12.
Yeah, eventually I got back into the regular when the team named it the Ravens.
Yeah.
That was when I got more involved or became a regular player, I guess.
All right, so we're gonna go with my final question now. We're at the end of the things. I appreciate your time, Jim. So if Godzilla, King Kong, the Loch Ness Monster, or Bigfoot had a fight, who do you think would win?
Well, you know, I've been thinking about this one because, you know, we all think about this one from time to time. I'd have to give it to Godzilla because I think Godzilla had equal talent in the water or on the land. So on the land, he could handle Bigfoot, and if he was in the water, he could handle the Loch Ness Monster. So I got to give it to Godzilla.
No. So Godzilla now has 5. Loch Ness has 4. King Kong only has 1, and poor Bigfoot. No one's picked Bigfoot. Apparently nobody believes in Bigfoot. So, thanks for joining me.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Mike. Yeah.
If you, someone you know who lives in the little area, is over 18 and is diagnosed with a mental illness, come on by to the Renaissance Club, which is located at 176 Walker Street on the 2nd floor. Or call us at 978-454-7944 and ask to speak to Elaine or Betty. You might get Jim on the phone when you call. Remember, Clubhouse works. It's really fantastic to see how Clubhouse has helped out so many people.
It's now time for my movie review. This is my review of Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Absolutely fantastic. This movie was the best thing to connect the original and the prequel trilogies. All the characters that you expect to be around this time period have cameos. While you might want them to have had larger role or longer scenes, I think if they were shown too much, it would have been detrimental to the film and the story they were trying to tell. It also did try to tie events this time to the events of The Force Awakens, though I didn't stop me from expecting it to. The only thing I thought was lacking in detail was the introduction. After the famous "a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away" card, it didn't go right to the title or have a scrolling text. That was the only thing I thought was strange. K2SO, the robot guy here, was my favorite character in the movie, if not the franchise. Even though I've not played the games, he kind of reminded me of HK-47. He was such a great character. He was so fun. I warmed up to him right away. Likewise, the character played by Donnie Yen, whose name escapes me, unfortunately, he's the blind warrior with the staff. He was such a cool character. I am one with the Force, and the Force is with me. This movie is the epitome of the phrase, it's all about the journey, not the destination, as going into the movie knowing it was leading into Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope, meant that certain events would have to happen. It was all a matter of how they would happen, and how difficult it was going to be to get there. After seeing this, I really am looking forward to watching A New Hope, so it leads in perfectly into it. 3.5 stars out of 3.5 stars. Now, back to the studio.
Wow, thanks for spoiling that movie for me, Mike. So, Mike, what do you get when you cross a snowman with a vampire?
I don't know, Mike. What do you get when you cross a snowman with a vampire?
Frostbite!
Well, that's all the time we have today. I'm Michael Colosi.
And I'm Michael D'Annunzio.
Thanks for joining us here once again for Renaissance Weekly. Remember,
Remember,
folks, life always offers you a second chance. It's called tomorrow.
Attention numbers, second lunch will now be served in the dining room. Thank you. Call 911, Gabby, 101.
And we go, oh, shoot. Mess up. Alright.
Life always offers you a second chance.
You skipped over the thank you for joining us.
Oh, sorry.
Hi, and welcome to my, see, I already messed it up. Alright. Louis Cardinals, all,
For New
line
Hope.
101, Chelsea line 101, please.
they would have to wait on their
Line
masters.
101, Betty, 101.
Again.
That doesn't make sense when I'm reading it. Thanks for spoiling that movie for me, Mike.
Blooper reel.
It was-